Hey guys, welcome back to the last episode of the season. Today we have with us Venu, who has been with us for the second episode of the season now.
Hello, Pallav. Nice to be here again.
Yes, hello Venu. So today the last episode is gonna be, as usual, a review episode. So the plan of this episode is to summarize and sort of review the season that has gone by. So to start off this episode, this season has been quite good. To categorize it roughly, we covered four broad areas. One was the one was the life experiences or the topics which are similar to last season. There were in that we covered life after college episode. You're getting the first job episode. Second category was the news category, where we covered Indians making it big in global tech, and the 2021 review episode. Then we also covered the superhero section, where we had an episode on fandoms, about how fandoms are so popular. Then the other episode was how superhero movies are changing theater movie going experience. And lastly, we covered a sort of a personal topic, a topic which is related to your behavior. So there we talked about self doubt, fear of failure, and the act of people pleasing and individuality. So,
Yeah.
Venu, which episode was your? How many episodes have you seen, and which one was your favorite?
So So I could see a few of the episodes whenever I found time, and I really like the fandom one because I could connect with it. I just want to know other people's perspective, what they thought about these sort of movies and the the sporting culture or whatever. So it was nice getting to know about others' tastes and preferences in something that I too am interested in. So yeah, that was a good episode.
Mm. Which is your favorite fandom or like sporting club?
Well, I'm not really much into sports. I was into sports some time back. That time it was United, but now I don't really follow it.
Mm.
But fandom wise, I think yeah, I do like the MCU. I do like DC, and it's these sort of movies are like those tent poles in my right. You have to
Yeah.
experience it on big screen. You
Mm.
can't really enjoy on Netflix or whatever. So yeah, I think these two I would say are some of my favorite fandoms.
Mm. So Manchester United lost one of their biggest followers in Venu, and they started losing now.
Yeah, not really, because I actually stopped watching right in
Mm.
probably 10th or something, 10th or right after 10th, because I got busy with you know PU, right?
Yeah,
Because it
yeah.
was pretty hectic. We had to go to these cram schools and all, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't really find time there.
Mm.
So yeah, maybe that's one reason why I couldn't follow football as much as I had wanted to. So yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. So to review the year. So we started off the season with topics similar to season one. In season one, we
Mm-hmm.
covered a lot of experience based episodes. So we started season two with getting your first job episode. So that was again about the struggle to get your first job, the interview process, and things like that.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I could connect with that episode, to be honest. It's the thing is, right? So I got so if you talk about me, I got my job like after a lot of my friends had got their jobs already.
Mm.
So that way I was a little stressed. Okay, because all my friends are getting decent
Yeah,
packages,
it's
and
like this. It becomes like this competition for some reason.
yeah, competition. Yeah, even though you're happy for them,
Yeah.
internally you are little stressed, right? So yeah, that was an experience, but also it in some ways it was a good experience because obviously we'll face failures there, and it's nice to face failures because then you'll know how to deal with them. and you won't, and in future when you'll actually face bigger failures, you won't really be disheartened, right? It's better to face
Mhm.
failures now than in the future.
Correct.
So I
I
think in
mean,
that sense, it was an experience, an
yeah, yeah.
important experience, I must say. And obviously, when you got the job, it's all nice. Everyone's congratulating you, your parents, relatives, and all are happy. So that's a nice feeling there. But yeah,
Mm. Yeah. Uh, so that was one of the episodes we did. On the experience part, we also talked about the life after college episode, where we talked about some things that we miss about college now, some things that we sort of appreciate after college, or what we gained after college. And yeah, so there we had Harsha and CV in the episode. We talked about uh,
mm,
things like losing your friends, making new friends, settling into uh, your new role, and things like that.
right. I mean, in some sense, we were unlucky because we only got half of our college life.
Yeah,
The
that's
other
very
half
unfortunate.
was, yeah, that's very unfortunate. The other half was spent in home, which had its own
Yeah.
advantages, but I don't think I would prefer that over going to college.
Mm.
But
Yes.
yeah, as you said, it's in college you weren't that liable, right?
Hmm.
You didn't have so many responsibilities.
Hmm.
In internship, also you were not that liable
Yeah, like the projects and
because
internships aren't heavy.
it ain't heavy, and it's not like if you mess up,
Yeah,
they'll screw you, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But it's a little different when you actually have a full-time thing.
Hmm.
So you have more responsibilities, more liability on you, and all this stuff. So yeah, it's
Mm.
a new phase. It's
Was
a fun
good.
phase, I guess, in some ways. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So now you want to talk about the news category, maybe?
Yeah, sure. I mean, what 2 years, man? Amazing 2 years, I must say.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have expected us to see a pandemic that literally happens like once in every 100 years or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Very rare.
we are like the lucky slash unlucky guys to have seen it.
Definitely not lucky.
Yeah, in lucky in the sense to be able to witness an event that only very few people could see. Unlucky in the sense because of the scale of the event, it's not really something that you want.
Yeah.
But you definitely have a story to tell to your posterity, I guess.
Yeah, it's like our grandparents saw the World War II, our parents saw Kargil
Yeah,
War to an extent. Now our
yeah,
generation is
yeah.
going through
We
COVID.
saw a pandemic. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, but again, it was devastating.
Mm.
You Many people I know have lost people they love,
Mm.
and also if the pandemic wasn't bad enough, now you have this Ukraine Russia thing,
Yeah,
which
which is
looks
a battle
which
of egos.
yeah, battle of egos basically, and which doesn't look good either.
Yeah, man, it's
So
not at all good when you see the oil prices so high, and
yeah,
the
exactly.
prices, inflation's gonna skyrocket in the coming months.
I mean, we all faced inflation and supply chain disruptions during COVID. Just when we were thinking everything was coming back to normal, this happened.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not a good time to live, I guess.
Yeah, but there were a few good things also. Like during the pandemic, especially, we've seen a lot of uh, tech startups and Indians making it very big abroad.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, you were there for that episode.
Yeah, correct. We talked about how what really makes foreign destinations, the ideal place for success for Indians, right?
Hmm. Yeah, we
We
talked
talked.
about a few uh, how competition in India has been um, one of the reasons why the top 1% of the smartest brains have gone abroad, and how that affects India in a way that had they stayed in India, they would have contributed much more in terms of innovation and other things like that.
Correct. Yeah. But also in some ways, they can also learn in those foreign lands and come and
come back
do
and
something big in India. Yeah, come back and do
mm,
something. So there's that advantage also, which Nikhil mentioned.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah,
correct. And we are in the season. We also talked about the personal topics, which I feel was the highlight of the season. We talked about things like self-doubt, fear of failure, and the act of people pleasing. So in the self-doubt episode, we covered the moments where we feel self-doubt, and how we overcome them. So we sort of concluded that self-doubt is like a thing that actually that's supposed to drive you, correct?
correct. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's okay if you doubt yourself. I mean, that's one way to know that you're probably
you're
not ready for it and you need to work towards it, right?
hmm,
If you think you know everything and you don't doubt yourself, then you might be in for a rude shock. So yeah.
yeah, correct. Then we also talked about fear of failure. There we talked about how sometimes when you want to pursue something, the the process of pursuing it actually scares you more than it drives you. And that can only lead to two things: either you frown in it, or that again drives the hunger to achieve that even more.
Yeah, yeah, correct, correct. I mean, it's okay to fear failure
Fear
because
of failure.
like yeah, yeah. Because in some sense then you know that you might not be ready and you'll work towards it, right? It's something like self-doubt itself.
Hmm.
And it's but again it's okay. It's good that you take in failures as many failures as possible, because then you'll be battle ready in the future, right?
uh, yeah. Then in the end, towards episode 6, 7, we talked about people pleasing and individuality. So how we spend time with a lot of different people, and sometimes you don't know whether are you uh, are you doing it because you like it, or are you doing it to please the folks around you. So there's this whole thing of am I trying to fit in, or am I being myself and just imbibing the good things from the peers? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think it's just best if you be yourself. You don't have to cheat, right? Like your first impression is the best impression, right?
Yeah,
And if you give an impression that is not yours per se,
yeah,
then people might people might be repelled by it later when they really see who you are, right?
correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
So
it's
I
like you're
mean, just be
pretending
yourself.
to be someone who you're not,
Yeah,
but you're
yeah, yeah.
pretending to be because you I don't know, you want to be more liked by
Mm.
a group or something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's okay if you try stuff to be liked, but that shouldn't completely change your character, right?
Yeah, correct.
So
So yeah, so the fourth category of this was the superheroes and the fandom episode. Uh, which was your favorite? So why don't we start with you?
yeah, yeah. So as I told, I mean that episode was pretty good. Uh, it really told what kind of impact cinema has.
Hmm.
Like what like when the pandemic came, I think at that time the the most hyped release, at least during
Hmm.
the pandemic, was
Hmm.
Tenet, right? But
Yeah,
it couldn't
correct.
really bring people to
2020.
theater.
Hmm. Yeah,
I don't know which year, 2021
yeah,
or
2020. It
2020.
was 2020, I think. Tenet was supposed to release that year. It got delayed, but then it still released close to October-ish of that year.
Yeah, yeah. So and it couldn't really garner
Attention.
footfalls, right?
Hmm.
Attention. Also, the movie, it was not so. It was not as good as Inception, I would say. So yeah,
But
but
again, it's
yeah. Mm.
I don't. I mean, critics sort of liked it. Audience, personally, I found the movie good. I would have loved to see it in the big, in the big theater experience. But again, because of pandemic, theaters weren't open. uh, even if the theaters are open,
Yeah,
Tenet grabbed very few eyeballs.
yeah, yeah. Not so much in India, at least.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe abroad a bit. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So after that, also there were some releases. Like
Hmm.
I think Dune came bit before Spider-Man, right?
Which movie? Dune. Yeah,
Dune.
yeah. Sorry, Dune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that also did so much box office in India. I'm
Yeah,
not sure
Dune.
about.
Dune was
Uh,
it like
I mean, it
only
was
a
a good
few.
movie, but
It was a good movie,
yeah,
but like the people who read the books or something, they were more hyped on the train. But yeah, nothing beats
yeah,
Spider-Man.
yeah. But Spider-Man really changed it, right? It really got people back to cinemas, and
Yeah,
that was amazing, you know. And now I think this pandemic really changed how cinema works, right? So now cinemas will only be for these big tentpole movies, like all these Tom Cruise ones, and the Fast and Furious ones, and all these fandom like
yeah,
MCU,
Jurassic
whatever.
World ones.
Yeah, Jurassic World and all that, and all these smaller movies like probably these Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino's movies will just be uh for Netflix and Amazon and all that. Which
Yeah,
I think Scorsese already did with Irishman. I think his next movie is also on I think on Netflix, I guess. I'm not sure about that,
hmm,
but yeah, I think that's how it's gonna be. All these
yeah,
how do I put it? These critically acclaimed ones, not so
artistic.
commercial ones, will artistic type. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I do agree that even before the pandemic, it was like the grossings by the earnings by these superhero slash fandom movies, they were anyways far greater than what the small budget films were doing. But now with the pandemic, people have become more averse to what movies they want to go to, and they've become more selective.
mm,
So again,
yeah,
it's going to be very limited to these franchisees type uh, movies. So yeah,
yeah.
that
The high budget ones that are really worth watching on big screen.
yeah,
I think,
usually it's CGI movies for some reason.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
There are few
yeah,
franchises which have, which are non CGI, but they're still a franchise, like
yeah.
they're still a fandom.
It, yeah, yeah. In some sense, the big budget ones, right? Basically.
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah, so that broadly covers the season two of what the episodes that we covered in season two. So Venu, what you got for me?
So yeah, yes, I was wondering, what do you think was different from season one, right? So you've done all these episodes.
Hmm.
What was really different in this season compared to the other one? And what did you like more about the season?
So season one was obviously the first one that was more about trying something new, trying something which I've wanted to do for a few years now. So that in the first episodes we covered mostly um, experiences sort of episodes. We talked about a lot about what was revolved around college, but I feel like in season two we've taken it up another notch, and primarily because of the personal sort of topics that we covered in self-doubt, in those three episodes, which are centered around people pleasing, self-doubt, and fear of failure. So I feel that was the biggest difference. I know I had different plans for season two. Like I really thought of calling a few guests slash popular people, but being a little lazy myself, I've never emailed them to join for a podcast. But I don't know if maybe that could be a part of season three, maybe.
I mean, that's pretty exciting actually. That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're saying basically season two it was a little bit more philosophical in some sense, right? When you started talking about
Mm-hmm.
personal things and something about attitude in life and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, right, nice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so do we have more seasons
Good
or what?
question. See, I this podcast I started purely with the goal of self improvement. So the day I feel very confident about what I want to talk and things like that, this podcast is going to be over. But having said that, I feel like there are still a few more topics that I really really want to talk about. uh,
Mm-hmm.
to give a hint, I really want to talk about investments, like starting young with your investment. And second would be the startup scene in India. So you really have to watch out for those episodes in season 3.
Yeah. I mean, those are interesting topics, especially the finance one. I think
Yeah,
we are all at this phase where we should really
we
get into finance and start investing and saving up for your future, right?
yeah.
These are not really good times. You could lose your job any time, in fact.
Hmm.
We work in private sector, right? In
Yeah,
private sector,
yeah.
you're not really assured of your job. So I think that'll be an interesting podcast. Yeah.
Hmm. All right, I think that brings us to the end of not just the episode, but of the season. It was great having you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, Pallav. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, yeah.